Good morning, everybody. My name is Marty Forrest. I am your host today and every Wednesday. My website is Hello Extraordinary Life. I haven't decided what I should call myself. Really. I mean, I'm a coach and I'm a mentor, but I say life coach. People get this idea, and I say relationship coach. They get another idea, and I've thought about I'm the all about me coach, because it's all about me, right? And my relationship with me. And anyway, I haven't quite defined that exact title of coaching and mentoring. So anyway, I'm just making that light because it's still evolving. I also host a course, which I just started one last week. So look for dates. You can check that out on the website also. All these calls are recorded. You can find all of those on the website, on the private Facebook, it's a closed Facebook group, Loving Yourself from the Inside Out. I also post them on my business page on Facebook, Hello Extraordinary Life also. So there's many places to find them. You can sign up on the website, and they'll come in your email even. So there's a free offer there for 3 steps to reprogramming your negative self-talk. If you haven't picked that up yet, it's a great 4-page guide about becoming aware of how we are and what goes on in our head and steps to change it. All right, that's a good place to segue right into the topic for today is delivery and timing. And I launched on this topic now a couple of times. I actually had a great talk last week and got done and forgot to record it. I'm like, wow, I was so on. And I forgot to record it. I'm like, oh, geez, really? All right, well, here's my whole, I'm really human, and I made a faux pas here, and, well, I didn't record it. So apparently I wasn't a good time. And I got to redo it. I decided I would redo it. And because it's not recorded, A, and I don't rehearse them, B, it will be different. And that's okay. So the conversation of delivery and timing started when my cat died a couple of weeks ago now. Today, 2 weeks ago today. And I wrote a post about what would help me and the things that will probably put me over the edge. And a couple of days later, I get a text that was about, I'm so sorry about your cat, and I hope this is not a bad time. And she went on about, have you thought about this, and why is it always so negative? And I was like, really? And I was very clear. And I realized that there's her delivery this time, she's learned a lot, because we've been friends a long time. But the timing of it was still, it just didn't, because I know her, this didn't land so poorly for me. There was a time that it would have landed very poorly, and I would have gotten very angry because I'm still, when I'm in that raw emotion, especially of grief, and someone just says something that may not be intended to be insensitive or unkind, but that's how it lands for me. And it doesn't feel good. My emotions are just, I'm this raw, big, fat wound, and I'm vulnerable. And so when people have poor timing in that, it's, they don't know it. Usually they don't know, which is the other reason I wanted to talk about this. So that's about grief. Checking in with the person and just, what do you need might be a more effective question. How can I be with you right now? Gives the person an opportunity. They may not know. People would call me and say, well, what do you need? How can I help you? And I'd say, I don't really know. I don't know right now. And leave it. The flip side of that, the not part of that is when someone, and I'm going to just talk about grief for a minute, and then I'm going to go into some other things. When someone's grieving is to not talk about your experience of someone dying or their animal dying immediately. Give them some time, because that diminishes and minimizes what they're experiencing. oh, my dad died. Oh, mine died, and blah, 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 blah. And they go off on their own thing. Well, you've just totally whitewashed my experience and what I'm going through instead of simply being with me. And the truth is, many people don't know how to do that. And that became much clearer when my dad died. It became much clearer about how to be with someone else. And some people, and everybody takes it different. So there was a woman, her dad had died, it was a couple months later, and I said something about what had it made me really angry about something somebody had said, and she's like, oh, I don't take it like that, right? So every person is different. You never know how it's going to be for someone else. Okay, so enough about that. Let's talk about things like, I want to talk to my partner or my friend about something that they said or some way that they behave that doesn't really work, not very effective. So there will be times that the timing is just never going to be good in a conversation like that, because it's not going to land well for them, because most people probably, is fair, don't want to hear it. So if it's a conversation to be had, then it's asking them, is now a good time? And giving them the topic. We don't have to have the whole conversation right now. Hey, is now a good time? No, not a good time? Okay, when can we talk? I'd like to talk to you about something that was said, let's say. Then that gives them time to prepare, like just to get their head in a space that they can be open to talking to you about it. There are other ways to, sometimes the moment is the right moment. I've done a thing where I'll pray about it, and I'll say, okay, Spirit, is this a conversation that needs to be had? Do I need to address this issue that I'm having? It's my issue, right? That someone said something and hurt my feelings. So I'll put it out there in a way of, if it's a conversation to be had, then please provide that space that's organic and spontaneous. So then I'm not trying to control it. That's the part for me. I'm not trying to control it happening. And sometimes that opportunity presents itself, and when it does, I say, okay, Spirit, help me out here. What are the words I need to speak, or speak through me so they can hear whatever I need to say? And sometimes those opportunities don't come because it's really my issue, right? It's my issue to deal with, and I don't need to bring it to them. There are, let's see, what else was I thinking of today? I was thinking of when you want to break up with somebody or you're going to ask for a divorce. There's never a good time for that. There's just never a good time to bring that to someone. Then it's about delivery, and then sometimes no matter how you deliver it, it's not going to go well. It's just not, because my second husband, when I told him I wanted a divorce, oh my God, I thought I delivered it quite well. I was quite proud of myself. Well, it didn't matter how I delivered it. I could have said all the magic words that there were, and I thought I did. I prepared it and I rehearsed it because it was not a comfortable conversation. It was not an easy conversation. And I knew that there was never going to be a good time. This is what's going to happen. So I delivered it in the kindest way that I knew how, and bringing it to the fact that we were not good for each other. We were not helping each other. We were not bringing out the best of each other. And I just didn't want to do it anymore. And man, it's from that point on, that just triggered his wounding. So it just got uglier. And I actually ended up leaving the house through that, because it just got really horrible. So not every situation is that way. There was a situation where I quit. I got elected to the board of this organization, and I was at a point in my life that I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't be there. My heart wasn't in it. I would actually be causing more harm to be on the board than I would be helping, because I just didn't give a shit. So if my heart's not in it, I'm not going to be doing a good service for anybody. And I went to the director of the board, and there again, timing, she's like, well, this is really not a good time. And I said, well, that is true. However, elections are coming up, and it would be a good time to let someone else be elected into my spot. So I was able to give her a different perspective, and I delivered it with all of the context, right? It was important that I bring the context of all those things I just said. My heart's not in this, and I'm not really interested in doing it anymore, and I will be doing a disservice to you, the board, and all of the women that are in this organization. And she could hear that. And even though she didn't like it, she could hear what I said. And I left the board and ultimately ended up leaving the organization. So the delivery is, am I clear about the timing? Is there any other timing piece that you want to know about? Like when is a good time, how to ask if there's a good time? Did I cover that well? You got it?
Mm-hmm.
I think the most important part of that is if you can make a date with someone or a time with someone, depending on the urgency of the matter. Some things can wait a day or two. Some things, and let me complete that as I think about it. It's our responsibility. If I am going to have a conversation and I've asked for a time with someone, if I've asked my husband for a time, you know darn well he's not really going to want to talk about it, depending on what it is. That's why I say give him the subject matter. Don't just say we need to talk, because that's loaded. It's a loaded, charged statement. And many do not receive that very well. So let them know, hey, I'd like to talk to you. If now's not a good time, I want to talk about, well, let's just say how we're spending our money. Right? So that gives them an idea. Oh, okay. Now, whatever he does with that is up to him, but I've let him know so he can be prepared. Then it's my responsibility to come back and say, hey, remember we're having this conversation, or are you ready now to have this conversation? It's not, because my experience has been most people won't come back to me and say, oh, hey, did you want to talk? You ready to have that conversation? But many people don't do that. So it's my responsibility to make sure that if it's that important, that I follow up. Delivery, own it, take responsibility for my own place and my own feelings. I don't get to blame them for whatever it is. I want a divorce. I'm not happy. I'm not good for this relationship. I did say I think we are toxic together. I made it a we statement. And consider how you would receive what you're about to say to someone. How would that land for me? And sometimes you qualify it. Hey, I got to say this thing. I'm not very graceful. I don't know how to say it really, so I'm going to just say it, and then we can talk about it. Right? So sometimes we just have to qualify it with, I'm really uncomfortable. I'm not sure what the right words are to use. I don't really know how to say this. I want to say it really gracefully, and I'm certain it may not come out that way. Right? So you just give it a qualification of, I'm going to stumble over this, possibly, because I don't know how to say it any different. And I've said that to people. I don't really know how to, because sometimes my delivery is it's an art and it's learned. Most of us, when I say many have not learned the art of delivery and kindness in our words. Because when we're hurt and wounded, that's the place we're coming out of. Excuse me. So considering how something might land for me has been very helpful. Learning new ways to speak so that I'm not blaming them or guilting them or making them wrong. I'm owning it. And I'm talking about how it affects me. And if I can't do that with them, I go talk to someone else first so that I can vent all that out and get clear about what is my issue that I need to speak to. Because the other part is I don't necessarily need to process it with that person. So I go process with someone else, and then I come back and say, okay, so here's what's going on for me. How can we negotiate this, or how can we do something different? That's another way to enroll them in the getting into the solution with you. Because then it's, how can we do this together? It's not, this is not working, and this must change. And this is how you need to be different. You see the difference? Any questions or comment? Anything specific that you would like to help with?
Oh, hi, this is Nancy. Maybe I'm going to put something out there. I had this opportunity came up the other day. My husband had said, men die sooner because we work harder than women. And it was a trigger for me. I wanted to just really send a lot of stuff back, and I took a moment, took a deep breath, and I said, well, that probably didn't need to be said. And that didn't settle with me well. Mm-hmm. And luckily, he didn't go on, and he kind of smiled and giggled and let it go. But had he not, I don't know if I could have contained myself. So I'm not sure if you find yourself in one of those situations where it starts going ugly, how do I pull myself out?
Yes, really great question. In those moments, as you were speaking, what I would ask is, could you say more about that?
Really? I want to hear more.
Yeah, because he may mean it in a different way than you're interpreting it.
Oh.
See, and given his smile, he knew he pushed your button, right? So I know this a little bit about your husband. He knew he pushed your button. But in those moments when somebody says something and it lands like a rock in your lap, get curious about it. I'm hearing this. Is this what you mean? Right? So sometimes in those moments, learning how to deliver in the moment, because the timing is right there, right now. So getting curious. Stating, that didn't land very well for me. Could you say what it means to you? Or what you mean by that comment?
Okay. But what if it continues not to land well with me? How do I pull myself out?
Then you just say that.
I mean, we're in the car.
Then you stop the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to not talk about this right now. I need to not talk about this right now. Okay. I'm just getting angrier. Period. Own it.
Okay.
And then it's difficult. These are not easy when you begin because you're setting a new boundary. So when you begin these kind of conversations and you're not used to doing that, you're used to doing the dance how you do it, it's uncomfortable, and it's important that you follow through. The other part of that delivery is following through. You know what? I can't talk about this anymore. I'm just getting angrier. Boom, done talking.
Good. Okay.
Right? Just be done talking. Because sometimes I've been in those relationships where people want to just keep on and then they want to try to soothe it and make it feel better. And I've looked at my husband and said, you're really just pissing me off right now. Could you stop talking about it? Because I've already said right? I already said I'm upset about this, and this someone trying to soothe it over for me or soften it, it doesn't help me. Because I'm angry, and I just need to be in my anger for the moment and then move on from that. Then I can come back later and talk about it. That's part of the timing also is if I know I'm getting too angry to be civil in my conversation and I'm in a car, I need to stop talking.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Is that helpful?
Yes.
Yeah, so, there's things that we can plan timing for, and there's other things like that where there is no plan. The time is right now. We're in the moment. And then how do I address that in the moment? Take a deep breath, which you did, and then own my feeling. I think that's one of the most important things is, I'm just really, that just didn't land very well for me. I'm really feeling angry. I said something to my husband the other day, and he said, that just landed like you're blaming me or like it's my fault. And I went, oh. He said, I just needed to say it out loud. Because what happens when we don't, it starts coming out sideways.
Yeah.
And then I get snarky in my remarks, or I get my little digs in because my feelings are hurt about that one thing I didn't address. And then all the little things I find that irritate me, I'm going to make some little snide remark, or I'm going to add to my evidence of that one comment until I'm over the top of angry over something that was small because I didn't address it. It's part of us being responsible for ourselves.
Great. Good. Yeah. Thank you.
Stacey, I know you're muted. We have like a minute or so left. Did you have anything? Can you unmute yourself? Did you want to add anything, Stacey? I'm going to take that as a no. All right.